Hello everybody, surprise! Welcome to the Big Sister podcast with me, Grace, and my sister Josie.
Hello, I'm Josie, I'm Grace's big sister, and we're going to be giving you some unqualified advice and talking about different topics each week. This week, what are we doing?
We're going to be talking all about New Year's because we are posting this on the 1st of January. Happy New Year, everyone. I can't believe it's 2025. We're going to be discussing all things New Year's resolutions, the pressures around this time of year and going to the gym in January and all sorts of things like that, and just discussing our own takes on things and then answering some questions from you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy. Okay, so let's get into this week's topic, which is, of course, New Year's, because it is the 1st of January 2025. I think there is so much pressure around New Year's, especially on social media. All the productivity accounts trying to make people get all their resolutions in order, maybe start a new fitness regime to get ready for summer. And there's a lot of pressure around this time of year. And I think we forget it's literally just a day, no different to any other day, and there's no real reason that you have to like pressure yourself into starting a new thing or being super productive just because it's the 1st of January. Yeah, I feel like there's such a pressure, especially because people are like, oh, summer's coming up, we need to eat healthy, to be bikini ready. And I mean it's a great thing to work on yourself and try and be healthier, but it shouldn't be looks based. We shouldn't be like, okay, well, I want to look this way by summer, so we're going to start our New Year's by going to the gym, because I feel like that's just an unhealthy kind of way to look at things.
And I think if you're coming up with a New Year's resolution that comes from a place of I don't like something about myself and I want to make something better about myself, then
especially looks based.
Yeah, it's just like if you're coming at it from a place of negativity and not enjoying something about yourself, I think that's when it can become a bit of a problem. Or
I think like going to the gym and having a healthy lifestyle is great, but you shouldn't be doing that because you hate something about yourself or hate a certain body part that you don't like or a certain insecurity. You should, if you do want to have a healthy lifestyle, you should do that for the health reasons more than looks reasons. I feel like going to the gym and eating healthy should never be about the way you look. It should be about the way you feel.
And also going to the gym in January is an absolute nightmare because there's way too many people in there. So if you're going to start going to the gym, go in December.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's too late now, but yeah, I think the amount of people that join gyms in January, go for a few weeks and then give up, I feel like it happens every year. And I feel like the gym industry and like the fitness industries push this narrative of New Year fitness,
because
let's get back to the gym.
They know that people are not gonna keep going probably past like the first few weeks of January, so then they're just making loads of money.
All the gyms want you to sign up to their direct debit, and then they just have your money for the rest of the year because people are too embarrassed to cancel it.
I think another good thing that you could think about if you're thinking of New Year's resolutions is what is something you genuinely enjoy doing, and make it more of a positive thing. So if there's like a hobby or something that you have dabbled in 2024 and you want to maybe do it a bit more, then I think, doing something positive can be a really good way to actually stick to that resolution. Like, I don't know, whether it's like learning to play the keyboard or like,
or just being kinder to yourself.
Yeah.
I think, having resolutions that are much more positive focused. If you have written a list of resolutions, go have a look at it now. Try and think, are these kind of all negative based resolutions or are they positive? And I think if they are mainly negative, maybe try and think of a new positive way to look at those, or just get rid of that list and
or just
write
don't have any
one.
at all. I'm actually very anti New Year's resolution. I think no one should really have any at all.
But I think it's important to remember the 1st of January is literally a random Wednesday, like this year. So like it's no different to the week before Wednesday. Like we shouldn't have this massive pressure of like, it's a new year, and if you don't do your resolutions this day, then you failed and the whole year's off to a bad start. I think you just need to remember like time is just made up. Like humans just invented years, and
that's
like
actually really weird to think about.
Yeah, there's so many other cultures that don't have the 1st of January as like the new year, like in so many different cultures around the world. So like I don't know why here in England we put such a pressure on ourselves to like do everything new in the new year, because to be honest, winter in the UK, January is a miserable time of year, and I don't feel the most productive in January. I probably feel the most productive and wanting to go out and do stuff in summertime.
Yeah.
So I always feel like personally, like summertime, like when you'd normally finish school for the holidays, that kind of feels like a fresh start for me personally. So I think just having your own kind of timeline and not feeling the pressure of everyone posting about, oh, it's the 1st of January, you must do all these things.
So in 2022, I started a New Year's resolution to paint every single day or sketch every single day. Guess how long that lasted for?
Probably like 2 days.
A month.
A month. Okay, well that's better than some.
But I posted about it on socials.
Oh,
I made
so
YouTube videos. I was like, guys, I'm going to sketch every day in 2022. And you can go scroll back on my social media and you can see that I did not keep up with that. And it was because I had forced myself to do something every single day, and it just kind of ruined the enjoyment of it because I felt like I had to rather than I wanted to.
I feel like a better resolution that you could have set at the time is like, just spend more time or enjoy painting. Paint when I want to, like enjoy, be more creative this year.
And the irony is, now that I don't have that strict pressure on myself, I actually do almost sketch every day at the moment just because I'm enjoying it. But I didn't set any sort of resolution for that. I just do it because I'm enjoying it. And if I stop enjoying it,
you're not going to feel guilty.
Then I don't feel guilty because it wasn't something that I'd like set as a strict thing for myself.
Yeah. I think there's so much pressure. Like, I follow a lot of fitness influencers and like the kind of productivity influencers, and honestly, for some people it works and good for them that they're so productive, but I think it's so easy to compare yourself on social media to these people where it's like January 1st, 5 a.m. morning routine, I'm getting up, I'm taking my greens,
and we all
I'm taking
know
my
that
vitamins.
These people are not doing this anyway.
Yeah, I would like to say, if you're following fitness influencers and productivity influencers and they're filming a 5 a.m. morning routine, they're not filming that at 5 a.m. I mean, some might, and good for them, but I've seen firsthand I have a lot of friends that are influencers, and nothing against them. I mean, it is their socials and they can do what they want, but I do think sometimes it is a little bit not genuine to be filming. You can see people will be filming an evening routine in winter and it's light outside. And I'm like, you're living in England, it goes dark at 3 p.m.
Yeah.
So that dinner you're filming and it's light outside, you're not filming that at dinner time. And I think it's so easy to view social media as like 100% that's their true life, when most of the time it's basically like watching a TV show or watching a movie. Like, people are setting up these things to film, they might not even be doing them. Like, I know a lot of times people will film these morning routines and they'll film a little clip of them doing their yoga in their house. They're not actually doing that workout routine that morning. They're literally setting up the camera, putting all the lights up, getting their timer on, filming a 10-second clip on their TikTok, and then they go do the next thing in their shot for their morning routine. And I mean, that's how they film it. That's their job. It's their job to make these videos. But I do think it's interesting how much people can compare themselves to that when the people you're comparing yourselves to aren't even doing the things that you're feeling bad about.
It's the same with like clean talk people that are posting about their really clean
Sunday
house.
reset.
And you can see that and think, look around your own house and be like, my house is a mess. Like, that is really bad. I don't live up to these expectations. But the reality is that these people are literally, when they make those videos where it's like stop motion of like the sponge going across their worktop and things, it's like, that is just is literally like a job for them to just do that.
Yeah, their job is a video production person making videos about someone that cleans their house. Their job is not actually to clean their house because they're spending their time doing the videos, not actually the cleaning.
You'd probably turn their camera around the opposite way and you'd see like a load of mess in the corner, but they're just obviously not showing that.
I mean, even right now, we're filming the podcast in my flat. The mess around me is a lot, but this looks beautiful.
So nice.
We've got a beautiful setup here. But if I turn the camera around to show what I'm seeing right now, there's leftover Chinese on the side. We've got like random Amazon boxes. There's like cups of tea,
an overflowing waste paper bin.
Yeah, there's lots going on around here. And I mean, it is hard because obviously my job is an influencer and my job is to also create content. And I find it hard to have that balance between looking aesthetically nice, like the content looking nice so that people will want to watch it, and also being realistic on social media, because and I think if you are someone that posts content online, I think realizing that actually your followers will connect with you more if you're being honest and sharing real parts of your life, whether that's not wearing makeup in a video, whether that's sharing the mess in your apartment. It's going to make people connect to you more and your audience feel like they can relate to you more. So I think if you are watching this and you make content, that is very important to remember that your videos might even do better if you're sharing realistic parts of your life.
Yeah. Anyway, I feel like we've gone on a bit of a tangent off the New Year's resolutions topic,
Yeah.
but we thought it would be a good idea to share some of our New Year's resolutions that we made at the beginning of the previous
2024.
year. And I actually wrote mine down, so I'm just going to grab my notebook.
So you can tell that Josie is the older sister because she writes all her things on a notebook, whereas I write all of mine on the notes app on my iPhone. So we're going to go through our resolutions from last year, and then we're going to talk about what we want to do this year. So Josie, why don't you start by telling me what you wanted to do in 2024?
Okay, so I didn't do like resolutions, I did goals and intentions for 2024, and I split them into personal, financial and health.
That's
I
nice.
think we're getting some Virgo vibes from me here because I was very organised
Yeah.
at the beginning of this year. So with personal, I did move to the UK, which tick. I
Yeah,
achieved
if you
that.
guys didn't know, Josie has lived in Australia for the past 7 years.
Yeah.
And she only recently moved to the UK about 6 months ago. And now she lives in my apartment building, which is very convenient for the
It
podcast.
sounded like you were going to say in my apartment.
No.
I do have my own apartment.
Yeah, Josie lives in the same block as me at the minute. But yeah, so you did move to the UK. So
Yeah,
you fulfilled
check.
that goal.
I have fulfilled that goal. The next one was spend more time with family and friends.
Well, here we are,
I'm
sat
doing
together.
that right now, so that's good. And actively work to make those moments happen. So that was more like responding to people on WhatsApp, like actively being like suggesting ideas of things to do, because sometimes
that's a good idea.
I've noticed that sometimes I can just like rely on my more like organized friends who like are the ones who always come up with the ideas of what to do.
I am definitely the organised friend. Sometimes I do feel it's just me shouting out into a void,
Well, that's
saying,
good that
who
you're
wants to go
doing
to
that."
Nando's? And hopefully someone will respond to me.
Well, maybe some of your friends need to have that goal
Yeah,
of
because
actively work to make those moments happen.
Definitely the organised friend where I will make the full itinerary. I will share a shared notes on iPhone with them with a full plan of our day, what we're going to do. I will book the restaurants. I'm the person doing the research. I don't know if that's because I love to do it or maybe I've just got more free time than most of my friends.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Interesting.
I'm definitely the organised person. I'm the person. I think it's because I just like to be in control. I'm definitely Monica from Friends. But yeah, I think I'm definitely the organised friend. But so did you feel that you actually did that last year? You made plans happen?
I think I definitely did. Like since we moved back to the UK, I've been like trying to see friends. I'm not very good at knowing where to go. That was the main problem because I hadn't been in the UK for 7 years, so I was
know
like,
the
let's go for
hotspots.
dinner, and then I was like, I have no idea where to go, and I was like googling, and my friends were like, no, you don't want to go there. But luckily, one of my friends is really good at knowing. She has like this massive list of restaurants on her phone, so she always has the best recommendations. But I definitely feel like since I've moved back, I've been spending more time with friends, and it's hard because I now have all my friends in Australia who I then have to keep up with, like
yeah, that is hard.
long distance. Like having long distance friendships is really hard,
Especially when you're in a different time zone.
yeah, and
'Cause
it's like
I
the
feel-
worst time zone of any of the time
Yeah,
zones.
I feel like when I had friends in the UK and all my friends like went to uni in different parts of the country, it was kind of fine because like if it was a Friday evening, it's also their Friday evening and I can FaceTime them. Whereas for you, if you're chilling on a weekend, it might be Monday morning for them. So like you can't just FaceTime them randomly. Like
Yeah.
you're not kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah,
of what
I
you're
can't
up
really
to.
FaceTime my friends like ever. So yeah, that's been a bit tricky. So I would say I've definitely like connected more with my UK friends and like been doing actively working with that. But yeah, I think I need to maybe one of my resolutions for this year can be to try and reconnect with my Australian friends more, because that is hard. So yeah, I've got like a whole page, so let's go on to the next one. The next one is financial, so I'm not gonna like reveal the numbers.
Did you make any money last year?
But it was to save a certain amount of money for a house deposit, because me and my husband are hoping to buy a house at some point.
Yeah.
So I kind of almost got to the point of the amount that I wanted to save, but moving to the UK is really expensive. So
Cost of living crisis.
like we're basically almost there. So I'm going to say like 97% of the way there. So that's good. My next one was buy a house.
Oh, oops.
So that one didn't happen.
Quite do that yet.
No, but that's fine. And then my other one was get a literary agent, because I actually did write a novel this year. That also hasn't happened yet, but I have made steps to get there.
Okay.
So I've
Josie
submitted it.
is very much the creative sister. I have no idea what a literary agent is.
It's someone who helps you sell a novel to publishers.
I can't even write a text without needing spell check, but I mean, good for you. And
everyone needs spell check.
You've made the steps to make that happen, so I feel like
I'm guessing there.
Yeah, that's more than a lot of people could say that they did in 2024.
And then health. Continue with regular exercise that you enjoy. So that goes back to what I was talking about as something that you actually enjoy and want to do. So I put Pilates, running, yoga, TRX. So one thing about me is I actually had my appendix out this year.
Which probably didn't help much with your fitness.
Yeah, and at the same time, literally 2 days before that happened, I fell down the stairs and tore a ligament in my foot. So
I think there was a curse on that week.
Yeah, so I literally tore a ligament in my foot and then I had my appendix out. So, you never know what's going to happen. And if you make a goal, there are things that you just can't control sometimes.
See, I think this is why your resolution, maybe it should have been just be happy and healthy. Because then hopefully if you're trying to be healthy, you would do some exercise. Well, yeah, but maybe your one for next year could just be to be healthy, because then you're it could mean exercise, but it also could just mean healthy in terms of eating, or it could just mean actually physically being able to walk around and stuff that you take for granted usually.
I think what it's actually going to be is don't take your body for granted.
Yeah, your health for granted.
Don't take your health for granted, because in those few weeks and months where I couldn't really walk very well and I was recovering from having my appendix taken out, I realized how lucky I was prior to that to be able to have a body that could go to Pilates, was getting stronger, I could go for walks with my dog, even just literally going for a walk with my dog. I suddenly couldn't do that. So it's really given me a new outlook on how lucky we are to be healthy if we are healthy, and if we're not, then also just I don't know, just trying to
taking the steps to making sure you're feeling better.
Yeah, and everyone always has different things going on, so it's kind of hard to say make your resolution be healthy, because what if you have lots of different health problems going on? That is tricky. So
yeah, I guess just be as healthy as possible.
Or just I think just
look after yourself.
Yeah, look after yourself, and don't be hard on yourself if you can't necessarily do all the things that you want to do, and just basically go easy on yourself, I think.
Yeah, I think a quote that I see on social media a lot that has made me feel so much better is rest is productive. So if you're making your New Year's resolution about being productive and doing all these million things, I think it's so hard to forget that sitting on the sofa watching Netflix with a cup of tea can also be productive.
Yeah.
Giving your body time to rest means then in those times where you are working or you're doing exercise or whatever you're out and about doing, you'll be able to do those things much more effectively and happily. Whereas if you don't give yourself time to rest, there's just going to be a burnout at some point during the year.
Yeah.
So I think some days, if it's a weekend especially, I don't know why I have this pressure of oh my God, it's the weekend, I need to go out and do stuff.
I always get that weekend pressure to do loads of fun things.
I live with my boyfriend, so I'm always we should go try a new restaurant, we should go on a walk, we should, go somewhere in the car, we should travel on the train somewhere, when really it can just be just as a happy and productive weekend to literally not leave the house all weekend, stay inside, maybe tidy your house, watch the TV, make a nice dinner. That can be just as fun and just as kind of time well spent as those people that are out doing loads of stuff every weekend. And it really just depends what sort of person you are. But I think even those really busy people that love being out and about, having at least, some time every week to rest is going to do you so much good.
So what were your resolutions for last year? I'm intrigued.
Okay, so I didn't actually write them down. What I did last year was make a YouTube video having them all. So most years I do try and not have specific kind of health focused ones, especially the past few years. I've realized that is not good for my mental health to do that. One thing that I always say every year is drink more water, because I feel like that's quite an easy one to do. Like almost everyone can try and drink a bit more water.
Yeah.
And what I did do at the start of the year was buy one of those like big water bottles. I actually got it on TikTok shop. It's like one of those big ones with a straw with a big handle, and it keeps your water cold all day. And I actually have been drinking that pretty much all year.
Good.
And it's not even that I'm forcing myself to it. I've just sort of got in the habit of every morning I'll fill it up. It's a big water bottle, I'll put ice in it, and then that's like my water for the day, and I just drink that. And sometimes I refill it, so sometimes I drink more than one a day. And I think, I mean, I don't really notice that it's made much of a difference to my life, but I think it's just,
it is good for you though.
yeah, it's good for you. And I feel like it makes me feel like even if I've done nothing else that day, if I've drunk my water, at least I've done something good for like my mind and my body. You know, I've done something to help myself that day just by drinking my water.
I feel like I don't need that resolution. Like I'm just thirsty all the time. Like I'm thirsty right now.
Yeah, see, I don't gravitate towards it, but what I do is like if I'm sat on the sofa or sat at my desk editing, I will just have it in my hand and just remember to sip on it throughout the day, because otherwise I will forget. So having that big water bottle, I definitely recommend. If you want to start drinking more water, get a water bottle that you like drinking out of and that you can take around with you. And yeah, so that's something that I definitely always say every new year. And I think finally I have like cracked the code of what is going to make me want to drink more water. And then also things, so I didn't really have resolutions. I had more just things I wanted to achieve in 2024. So one of the things I wanted to do was go to New York, which was like a bucket list thing. I've always wanted to go to New York. If anyone has followed me for years, you know that I used to be a Gossip Girl fan account. And I started off on social media talking about how much I love the TV show Gossip Girl, which of course is set in New York. So yeah, I was posting TikToks about Gossip Girl in lockdown, and then I so wanted to go, but obviously it was lockdown and we weren't allowed to fly. And then finally this year I went to New York for the first time. It was like my bucket list place. And my good friend Casey also loves the TV show Gossip Girl, and we love Friends, and so many TV shows are set in New York. I feel like I know the city just from watching all these TV shows over the years.
You went to the friend's house, didn't you?
Yeah, it was crazy to actually go because it felt like I'd been there before. Like I felt like I knew the city, like it felt like home almost, because I feel like I watched Friends and Gossip Girl so often that it literally felt like I'd been there before. So yeah, I'm so lucky and grateful that last year I was able to go to New York, and it was so fun. If you want to go see what I did post a whole vlog of my whole trip. We only went for 5 days, but honestly I think it was like my 5 favorite days of last year. It was so fun, so cool. I want to go back really bad. I would love to live there. If I didn't have a boyfriend and friends in the UK, I would definitely go and live in New York. So yeah, that was one of my things I wanted to do in 2024.
I think that's
and
a good
I did
idea.
achieve it.
That's a good idea for a resolution, is like an event or like something to do, or like somewhere you want to go.
Something to look forward to, yeah.
Yeah, something like that you want to work towards, like going.
Saving up
like,
for, yeah.
Yeah, because I think, you know, with something like that, you would have to save up for it and plan ahead. And it is nice to have those things in your mind as you go into the new year. Like, what am I going to be doing? Where am I going to be going and traveling?
Yeah, even just to go away for a weekend. Like, if you don't often go on holidays, it's nice to have that kind of goal to look up to. And if you start saving now, then hopefully by summer you'd be able to go away, whether it's just in the UK or get the train to Paris. If you're based in London, that's quite an easy little holiday, or something more fancy like going to New York, which was definitely very fun. So yeah, that was one of my goals for last year, and I did do it. Woo-hoo. Another one of my big goals was kind of work-based, and last year I was really wanting to hit 500,000 followers on Instagram and TikTok. That was always my goal. I feel like ever since I started social media, I was like, okay, this is the big thing, like 500,000 followers. That is insane. And I started the year, I think, on like 400 on TikTok and 300 on Instagram, and I finally hit both those goals, and I think in about February or March, which is crazy. And I'm so grateful and so lucky to have hit those numbers, and like I'm just so appreciative of everyone that follows me over on TikTok and Instagram.
And now your next goal can be a milli.
Yeah,
but
milli. I think one thing that I did realize though in 2024 is, although numbers are great and it makes you feel like you've achieved something and your hard work has paid off, honestly social media is so much more than the numbers. Like I feel like now I'm focused on you know, those people that do follow me already, I want to make good content for them. I want to interact with them. I want to have like a community, and I'm not really bothered about like the kind, I would say they're more like vanity metrics now, where it's like, yes, of course it's cool to say you've got so many followers, but I think I'd rather have less and really connect with those people and have a community than have like so many millions of followers but not actually feel like I've like, you know, connecting with them.
I think one moment when I realized that you did have a really strong community this year was when we went to the Eras tour, and because obviously a lot of people knew that you were going because you'd posted about it, and the amount of girls that came up to you and said hello and said thank you and said your
nice.
content means so much to me, you've really helped me. And I was like wow, like these people
real
follow
people.
Grace are like real people, and they're right there. So hello, if any of you who came up to us at the Eras tour are watching, hi. And that was just so nice to see. And yeah, I think those are the things that really
that means more something to me than hitting a number goal now. Like, yeah, as Josie said, when we went to the Eras tour, I met so many lovely girls, and so many girls that told me things, and like things that really meant a lot to me, that I'd helped them. And I think that's way more important to me. Maybe back in the day when I started my socials, I just thought, okay, numbers. But now I'm like, no, actually, I would rather make a difference to 10 girls' lives than just have like random silly videos that no one really cares about.
So I think if any of you out there are trying to like grow your social media channels or anything this year, then yeah, maybe the goal can be, you know, building a community or making a difference to people, or I don't know, just connecting with people offline that you've met online or something like that, because I think that can be so much more meaningful. Like personally, when I do like sketching and go sketching outside, and when I meet up with people when I'm doing urban sketching and like connecting with people in real life from an interest that I post about online, but I'm, you know, meeting up with people in real life, that just feels so good and so much better than, you know, just random likes online. It's just not quite the same. So yeah,
I think, I mean, we're going to get onto our goals for next year, but definitely one of my goals for next year is to connect with my audiences more in person, because yeah, I loved meeting all you girls at the Eras tour, and just in my day-to-day life, if people come up to me, it means so much to me. And yeah, so I'm thankful to anyone. If anyone ever sees me out and about, please come and say hello, because it means so much to me. My last goal for 2024, which actually in my YouTube video I said this was my only goal that I really cared about, was to finish university.
Woohoo!
If anyone has followed me online for the past 3 years, you will know how much I hated university. I mean, I loved making friends, I loved being in London, but the actual studying part was like the bane of my life. Like, I felt like it took over my life, and every day I woke up with dread at the thought of writing an essay or like doing a literature review or going into class and having to sit there and like have lessons. And honestly, I'm obviously so privileged to be able to have that education and be able to pay to go to university with my student loan and everything, but honestly I really did not enjoy my time at university. And the amount of times I almost dropped out was crazy. Like, so many times in first year and second year and third year, I was constantly complaining. If anyone watching this went to uni with me, you will know I just would sit there and complain about how much I hated it. And I think, yeah, my goal for 2024 was just to finish university.
And you did.
Yeah, I think my main fear was having to like retake and have that go on for longer than I wanted it to. But yeah, so in May, I did my final exams. I handed in my dissertation. And then in November, I finally graduated. Josie came to my graduation.
And took the photos.
Yeah, Josie took some great Instagram
photos.
pics.
Copyright Josie.
Yeah. They're actually one of my most liked Instagram photos of the year, was my graduation pictures that Josie took of me. But yeah, I was so happy to graduate. Like, it really felt like an end of a chapter and the end of like education, really. Obviously, I feel like when you're growing up, you have so many set things, and like you always know what you're doing in the future in terms of education. Like, you do your GCSEs, and then you know you've got 2 years of A levels, and then you've got 3 years of university, so it always feels like you know what's coming up next. Whereas now it's like, oh, there's no rules anymore. There's no like set plan, and all my peers aren't doing the same thing as they would be in school. Like, I feel like it's so weird to just kind of have that freedom, but obviously it's so amazing. Like, it's crazy that now I just don't. I feel like when you are in education, and especially in the UK, I feel like there's always this pressure of like, you can't relax. You need to be doing your essay. Like when I was at uni or when I was doing my A-levels, you can't relax. You need to go revise. Like there was so much pressure. And also I would watch study YouTubers, which definitely would not help. I would watch these study YouTubers during my GCSEs and A-levels who, again, probably made a lot of this stuff up.
It's the same thing as the clean talkers.
Yeah, they would post these 12-hour study with me's where they would, or I think there was one girl that would do like 24-hour study with me's.
What?
Who would not sleep. They would study the whole day, or like 12-hour ones. They would do like a shift. It was like a work shift of studying, and they would,
that is way more than a work shift.
yeah, they would not let themselves have a break. They would have like a half an hour break for lunch in the middle of the day.
How is that healthy? Like, how are they like promoting that
Well,
kind of
I
thing?
guess now that I'm a content creator, I now realize, well, that was just their job to make these videos, and really they probably weren't actually studying for that amount of time.
Because they were setting up their camera and other things.
Yeah, they were busy filming it. They probably weren't. They were probably just like making it up. But anyway, I would put a lot of pressure on myself to, whenever I would be relaxing, in the back of my head, there's always something to do when you're studying. Like there's always an essay to write. There's always a revision to do. Whereas now I finished uni. It's like the first time in my life that I can remember not having like background tasks.
Yeah.
Obviously, I do have a job and I'm self-employed, so I do have background tasks in terms of work stuff. But I really see it differently because I really love my job and I enjoy doing my work stuff. Whereas when I was at school, I hated every second of revising. I hated doing my essays.
I think the difference with like school and uni is you can always be doing it, whereas most of the time when you have a job, you kind of have set hours that you do the job and then you can switch off from it, and you know that you're allowed to switch off from it. But yeah, I think the pressure with like uni and that is to be constantly doing it. And the other thing is, I was going to say that so if you don't know, I am 9 years older than Grace.
Yeah.
Was it 8 or 9?
9 years.
9 years older than Grace, and so I've been out of uni for like 10 years now. I think it was 10 years this year. I'm just aging myself now.
Yeah.
But I still have nightmares about uni. I still have nightmares where I haven't finished for some reason. I have done all of the exams, but I haven't finished. I have to take another year. And like, for some reason, I didn't actually get my degree and I have to do another year. And like, no one is explaining why. And I've been at uni for like 7 years and I'm just like, and I literally have this dream like quite often. So just so you know,
It
like,
never leaves you.
yeah,
That anxiety.
it is like a real, like, I don't know, I guess it's, in a way, it's like a sort of trauma thing. Like, it's just stuck in my brain.
I'm not sure whether it's just like, is it the UK education system? Maybe it's like our parents put pressure on us to get good grades.
Think they did. They didn't. I feel like we either put the pressure on ourselves.
Yeah, and I think us, like the teachers at school, and like when I was growing up, watching all the study tubers. Like I remember watching
like
Eve Bennett.
I didn't have those when I was at school.
Yeah, Eve Bennett getting all A stars on every single GCSE and being like, oh my god, that needs to be me. And she studied 12 hours a day, so I need to do that. And I think there is a lot of pressure. And even now I see study TikTokers.
Yeah.
Which obviously now that doesn't really affect me as much because I'm not in school anymore. But I can't imagine being in school now and seeing little 12-hour study tuber TikToker lady like with all her aesthetic pens and doing all the notes on the iPad and everything.
But do you think people actually believe that that's real?
Yes.
Really?
I feel like when I was growing up, I believed everything I would see on social media. Even just like watching all the old school YouTubers, like doing their little days in the lives or anything like that, I would believe everything.
Yeah.
When like Zoella would do an ad for a product, I would fully believe her. Whereas now seeing the other side of it, I'm like, okay, well, if you're a genuine influencer, you will share your opinions. But some of those YouTubers have just paid a lot of money to lie to their audiences and they would believe them.
I guess it's, the same with study stuff. Like, I don't know. I don't think I grew up with that because it wasn't really, like, when I was at school, the only thing that was on YouTube was, like, these very specific beauty YouTubers that just did, like, lots of cut crease eyeshadow.
Or, like, that Harry Potter puppet channel.
Yeah.
I don't think, it's a very different time.
Snape.
Yeah, I feel like
I was on like the innocent side of the wholesome sort of like,
and also when you were growing
internet.
up, like social media wasn't like taking over everyone's lives as it is now.
Like I only joined Instagram in my first year of uni.
That's crazy.
Like Instagram didn't exist before
I
then.
joined Instagram in year 5.
Whoa.
Of school.
That's crazy.
And I remember, well, it probably is still the same now. You have to be 13 to have an Instagram account.
Yeah.
So like,
how old would you have been then?
Like 9. So then, or
Oh
10.
my God.
So then we all had to like set our age back. And then like, I remember finding girls on Instagram that were going to be going to my secondary school. So I was in primary school, and I remember like going on like hashtag my school name, and like this girl that was in my form at school, I knew her before we started year 7 because I found her on Instagram.
That's crazy.
And I'm pretty sure her account's still up, and you can see the comment of like, hi, I'm Grace, I'm going to be in your class.
Oh my God.
Like, to think that that was happening when I was younger, now these kids probably have social media like before they even start primary school. Like, that's crazy.
Well, their parents are putting them on social media when they're born.
Well,
so
yeah,
that's
you're
scary.
A family vlogger, yeah, you're going to be on social media. Your birth video might be on YouTube, which is crazy. But yeah, I think going back to my resolution, which was to finish university, I did that this year. I got a 2-1 in my degree, which is like the second best option in the UK, which I'm pretty happy with. I knew that with the amount of like stress and effort I was putting in, I wasn't going to get a first, but I was pretty happy with a 2-1 because I feel like I put in a 2-1 amount of effort and I got that result back, so I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, I graduated uni last year, which I'm very, very grateful for, and I can't wait to get my certificate and just stare at it, because that certificate cost me around 60 grand in student debt, which I've got to now pay off. So
I think that's why I have these stress dreams about you and uni.
Yeah, student finance England is like emailing us every day, like, pay your student loan.
Because when I was in Australia, I just kind of ignored it. I don't know if I should say that online, but anyway, I'm paying it back now, so it's all fine. Don't come
I
for
keep
me.
getting emails. I think if you graduate, like, you don't have to pay it back till the following year, so I'm gonna have to set that up, but it's so scary.
Yeah.
And I hope one day there's a government that just writes off all the student loans, because it is scary when I think about how much I owe to the government. And I don't even use my degree for my job. That's
Well, you kind of do though.
Yeah, but
business.
I would
you set up a business.
Yeah, but I would still be doing this job with a degree or not.
True.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so I would say what you guys can learn from that resolution is to really think, if you are currently about to go to uni or deciding what uni to go to, really think about whether you actually want to go and want to study. Because in my head, university was about deciding whether I wanted to go and have parties and go and make new friends, and maybe some people want to go and move to a certain city they love. Of course you want to do that, but you're actually spending the majority of your time at uni writing essays about a subject that you picked when you were in year 12. And me picking business, I picked that when I was 16.
Yeah.
And I was still suffering the consequences of that decision at 22. Like, it's crazy how early you have to pick your degree and pick what city you're moving to.
Well, I think in other countries, like in America, they have majors, but then they also can like be a bit more flexible with what
they can like change their course. Whereas in the UK, you have to pick it so early on. And especially people that are picking those really difficult degrees where it might be like medicine, where you have to study for 5 years. You're making that decision at 16 or 17.
But you're also making it in like year 9, even earlier when you choose your GCSE
options.
So the system is set up that you have to know yourself well enough when you're like 13 or even 12 to like know or have an idea of what you want to do for the rest of your life. And I just don't think that is right or healthy. So I don't know what the solution is to that if you live in England,
if you're at university age or going to university, and just really think. I think for me, I did a gap year before going to uni, and even though that didn't change my decision to go, it definitely gave me some good perspective of like, I learned that I didn't want to move out. I wanted to stay at home because during that gap year was lockdown, and I realised that I didn't want to be that far away from my family. So I think just giving yourself some breathing space, whether that's taking a gap year or whatever, having a few years off before you decide what you want to do, I think that's very good advice. Because and looking at other options as well, like you don't have to go to uni. There's so many other things you can do, like apprenticeships or other training. Just I feel like some people I know that didn't go to uni are, you know, higher up in their jobs now than you would be if you went to uni first.
It's not for everyone, and I don't think anyone should be pressured to do something that isn't right for them just because everyone else is doing it. So.
Okay, well, that's enough rambling about our resolutions for last year. I think we're both pretty happy with our outcomes.
Yeah.
I think we both did try and not set too harsh resolutions last year.
No, because I just know that I can't stick to them. So
yeah. Okay, well, let's quickly talk about our resolutions for 2025. Obviously, as we said at the beginning, we're trying to set more positive ones. We're trying to not be too hard on ourselves. So what are your resolutions for this year? Or have you even thought about them yet?
My resolution is that I'm not going to have any resolutions this year.
There we go.
Yeah, because I just think, well, I wrote these ones for last year and I've just gone through. I did some of them. I didn't do some of them. If I didn't write them down, would I have still done those things? Probably. So I just don't know if there's too much point setting anything too strict for myself this year.
Yeah, I think it's more I think when I think of resolutions now, I'm more just thinking of like goals I want to do this year. So for example, we want to keep up with the podcast.
Oh yeah, that's
we want the podcast to be
resolution.
successful. We want people to like it. But I wouldn't really say that's a resolution. That's more just like a work kind of goal for the year.
Yeah, it's like a goal, or what did I write?
Intention for the year.
Yeah, goals and intentions.
Yeah. I think just there's kind of ongoing things that I'd like to think I'm always working towards, like working hard at my socials, making a community. Like I said, I want to start doing some more in-person stuff with the people that follow me online. So last year, actually, one of my good friends, Brooke, she was hosting this event and it was like a panel and I gave a talk at it and met so many lovely girls there that followed me. So doing something like that or like making our own kind of in-person event maybe for the podcast could be something fun to do next year. But again, I feel like these are things where it's like, it'll be great to do those, but also we're not going to beat ourselves up if we don't, you never know what's going to come. We might have some big thing in the way that means we can't do that.
Might have another organ that needs to be taken out of my
yeah,
body.
there might be, after lockdown, anything could happen to stop things happening in person. So I think my main resolution for 2025 is just try and be happy and healthy.
Yeah. That sounds good.
Yeah, and no matter kind of what things I have to do to be happy or be healthy, that's great. But yeah, just...
Oh, I do have one that I'm going to do, which is to try and floss every day.
That is the most like adult resolution I've ever heard.
But have you heard about flossing? Like, you're supposed to do it every day.
Yeah, I floss.
Is that really gross that I just don't floss?
I feel like...
Right, I do sometimes.
Don't.
I do sometimes. I just never remember to do it.
Do you guys floss every day? Because I floss, I would say maybe on average every other day.
Okay, well that's pretty good.
Because I got this floss that I really like.
What is it?
I got it from... Where did I get it from? Like Home Bargains or
Floss
Savers.
influencer.
And it's called... I can't remember what brand it is, but it's like called like Diamond Floss or something. And it's got mint flavour on it.
Yeah, all floss has mint flavour on it.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, it doesn't, because the floss I had when I first moved here didn't have mint flavour on it.
Are you sure it was floss?
It was just like
a piece of
string. It was from Sawston Green.
Oh.
I used to buy my floss from Sawston Green because it's like eco-friendly. It comes in like a little cardboard
But
box.
yeah, most floss has mint in it.
Okay, well, in 2024, I discovered floss with mint flavour on it. Apparently everyone knows about that already, but I didn't know about it. And it's really changed the game for me because it makes your mouth feel fresh.
That is why I want to floss more.
But the floss I have, this diamond one, it's like, it's not a string. It's like a tape almost. I'm going to show you after we finish filming. So it's like easier to floss with. It's not just like a string.
Okay.
It's kind of like a flat tape.
surface.
So it can like, floss your teeth better. So that's my recommendation. If anyone's out there has not tried minty floss.
Okay, well, I'm so excited to just floss my teeth.
Okay, now that we've talked about our own resolutions, I'm going to go through some questions that we had in from our followers. If you do want to be involved in asking questions or being involved in the podcast every week, make sure you follow My Big Sister Podcast on Instagram, because that's where we'll be asking you guys for your feedback and your questions. But yeah, I'm going to hop into the questions. I feel like you haven't seen these, have you?
No.
So Josie has no idea what I'm about to ask. So we're going to go through some of these topics I feel like we've already discussed, but let's go through them. So the first question is there anywhere you want to travel this year?
Oh, yes, I want to, it sounds kind of boring, but I want to go back to Sydney.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, because I just want to go hang out with my friends over there. And
So do you think you want to go like in summertime in England, or like what sort of time of year would you want to go back to Sydney?
So
'Cause
that's
I feel
why
because the seasons are flipped, aren't they? So
yeah, for those of you that don't know, the Southern Hemisphere has the opposite season. So when it's like the beginning of the year, it's the summer over there. So basically, I just want to try and avoid the UK disgusting weather for a little while, and maybe go in like March or April.
yeah, that's a good idea. Or you could go, I guess, next like UK winter.
Yeah.
I guess it depends how sick you are of the England weather by then.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to go
I'm
more
already
often.
getting a bit sick of it.
Yeah. But it is such a big journey. I feel like I hate flying. I don't know if it's just because my back is made of metal, which if you guys don't follow me, you're probably confused by that. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, I have a back condition where my back is made of metal. I had to have some operations, which means I find sitting still for multiple hours very uncomfortable. So I feel like I would not want to go to Australia at least like twice in 1 year. I feel like once every few years would be enough for me, because that flight honestly is hell and horror.
Yeah, it is really, really bad. But I think after you've done it a few times, you just like, I think you just kind of dissociate and just like mentally check out and just be like, I'm just going to sit here. I'm good at sleeping on planes as well, so that helps.
You know what I was so jealous of? The last time Josie flew from Australia to England was the day that Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift came out.
Oh my God.
So you downloaded it all right before you got on the flight, didn't you? And then you had 24 hours with nothing alone but your thoughts and the album and no outside input because you had no Wi-Fi.
But the stressful thing about that was my flight was scheduled to leave literally like as the album was about to come out.
So you didn't know whether you'd be able to download it.
So I didn't know if I'll be able to download it. And then if anyone out there knows much about what happened with the
album release.
Yeah, with the album release. The album came out. I was supposed to be getting on a flight, and I was really stressed beforehand, like, how am I going to download it on time? But luckily I was still in the departure lounge when the first part came out, and then the flight was delayed, so I was sitting in the departure lounge, like, listening to the first half of the album. I didn't know it was the first half of the album at that point. I thought it was the whole album. And then we got on the plane, we boarded, and then I was checking all my like little Discords and my Instagram of all my Taylor Swift fan accounts, and suddenly something was coming, but I was about to go and lift off.
Everyone was like, what's about to happen?
And the second part of the album came out. The
anthology part of the album.
Literally 5 minutes before the plane was about to take off for
You're
like
so lucky that you could download it before.
I know, just because it was the only time I've ever been happy that my flight has been delayed.
Yeah, because the second half of that album, in my opinion, is way
so
better than
much
the first
better.
half.
Yeah, I love the second half so much more. So
well, I was so jealous because I was in England, so always Taylor Swift releases at like 5 a.m. in England. So I remember I set my alarm to wake up, and I woke up and there was a text from Josie being like, what is happening? What's happened? And I was thinking, well, it's just the album came out. Like, we knew the album was going to come out. Like, why should she be dramatic for? And then I go on Spotify and both halves, because I woke up slightly late, so like I missed the initial
31 songs.
30, was it 32? I thought 30,
a
lot of songs basically. And then I spent the whole day listening to it, and it was during my dissertation writing at the end of April. So I should have been writing my uni essays, but I just spent the whole day listening to Taylor Swift on repeat. And I did actually film my reactions for YouTube, so if anyone wonders my first reactions to the Taylor Swift Tortured Poets, I filmed that all. Which I think is funny to look back on, because my favourite songs like on that day are not my favourite songs now. So it's interesting how you like grow to like songs as you listen to them more. But yeah, so that was the last time you flew from Australia to England. So I don't think you can top that unless she comes out with another album on the day you fly next year.
Yeah.
Someone said, how do you feel about the pressure to start doing gym in January? I feel like we touched on this at the beginning, but there is such a big pressure to start going to the gym, and so many people do start going to the gym in January. I feel like that's like the gym's busiest time, isn't it?
The weird thing is I've actually started going to the gym I started going in December, which I feel like is the perfect time. If you want to start going to the gym, just go in December because no one's there. But the reason I'm going to the gym is, like, I used to be so scared of the gym. I would never want to go in there. I'd feel so intimidated. I literally hated it. I would just never, ever go. But for some reason, I think just because I've been to a few different ones, or like had personal trainers in a few different ones, or like gone to classes in different gyms, and I think over time I've slowly built up a tiny bit of confidence in going. But the reason I'm going is because I've had all these issues with my foot, and because I had my appendix out, I'm like going for a specific reason to try and like build up strength in my body that I've lost because I've been sick. And it's like I have a clear reason for going, and it's not because
it's for health reasons, not for aesthetic reasons.
It's not because I want to change how my body looks. It's because I actually want to try and like get back to like being healthy and strong again, because if something goes wrong with my body again, then I want to have like the strongest muscles, base that I can have. But I would definitely say like it doesn't have to be the gym. Like there's this thing about if you work out, you have to go to a gym, but there's like a million different ways that you can exercise and move your body that doesn't involve going to the gym. Like you can just do a YouTube video at home.
Or just going on a walk. Like I feel like just most people don't move their body. Like a lot of people work office jobs and, you know, sit around a lot. I mean, I do the exact same. And I think just moving your body, whether that is literally going for a 5-minute walk outside, whether that is going to the local shopping centre and walking around the shops, like just physically moving your body parts. A lot of people don't do that day to day. So even it doesn't have to be going to the gym and lifting the big scary weights in the scary weight section, whether it's just going on a walk, doing a little video at home, whether you want to go to Pilates or try like some fun class, or going swimming. There's so many different things you can do to move your body that aren't like gym scary exercise. And like Josie said, the gym isn't always as scary as you think it is. I mean, to be honest, I'm still scared of the gym, so I can't relate.
We should go together. It's less scary if you go together.
No, I'm still scared. I think if there is one exercise I would do regularly is Reformer Pilates, because I did really like that when I was doing it last year. But the thing that puts me off is how expensive it is.
It is really expensive.
I think maybe if I was to ever move to a house with a big enough space, I would get my own machine at home, like the Reformer Pilates machine. But
did you see that Audi was selling Reformer Pilates machines?
Yeah, you can get these like little ones that are like not as good. But I don't know, maybe I should get one of those. It's
not quite the same though, is it?
Because Reformer Pilates is really good, especially if you have like issues. Like I have scoliosis and a spinal fusion, so it can really help. Like whereas in the gym, there's risks to like injuring your back on certain machines. Whereas the Reformer, I feel like they can kind of tailor the exercises to like your injuries.
Yeah. It was invented for people in hospital originally. That's why it's like lying down.
But the thing that just puts me off is the price. I think it's just like a crazy amount. Like if you were to go regularly, it's almost like half the cost of my rent would be the Pilates cost. So maybe I should save up. Maybe my purchase I'm saving up for this year should be a Reformer Pilates machine at home and do it at home, because I do really find that it does really help me, but it's just the cost is so much money.
Yeah.
In terms of like pressure for going to the gym, I feel like what we said at the beginning, just I feel like the main pressures around this is all social media and those fitness influencers you see. And I just want to remind you again, the people that are posting, they're doing 1 million gym sessions a day. One, they're probably making it up or they're exaggerating. And number two, their job is to go to the gym. Like they don't have a 9-to-5 job and then they have to go to the gym and squeeze it around their other commitments. They have all day, every day, 7 days a week to go to the gym and film it. So really don't feel pressured, because if you are working a normal job, or if you have kids, or if you're just busy, you're studying, whatever, you have way less free time than these fitness influencers do. And they literally, their whole world revolves around going to the gym and filming it.
Yeah.
And if they had a 9-to-5 job, they would not be working out as much as they do.
Even if you have a dog, like sometimes in the morning I would like to go to the gym, but I have to go walk my dog, so I have to make that decision to just walk my dog. But that's fine. Walking is just as good
exercise. Yeah, but I think just feeling that pressure and really trying to remember these influencers, and even like the clean talk influencers that spend all day cleaning, their job is to keep their house clean and film it. And even me, my job is sometimes when I'm doing my fashion videos is to have fun outfits and try on different outfits. If I didn't have videos to film about fashion, I would not have as many clothes as I do. And I think
You'd just be wearing your hoodie all day.
Yeah, like if you watch my wardrobe tour, you might be comparing yourself and thinking, Grace has so many cool clothes, she has a million coats, she has so many different jeans. Whereas if back when I didn't do social media, I had like 2 pairs of jeans and like 2 coats, and that's totally normal and that's totally fine. And every single average person has, you know, way less than the average influencer does, or the average influencer shares online. So just learning to kind of remember that everything online is so different to the average kind of life, and so like well removed from it. And yeah, just really, I know it's so much easier said than done, but try not to compare yourself to people that you see online.
And if you start to notice, I think one thing that I've started to do recently is just trying to be like aware of how I'm feeling when I'm using social media. And I know that's kind of, it sounds obvious, but I think a lot of the time we just scroll and we don't take a step back and think, how is this actually making me feel right now? And just that little bit of stepping back and being like, this is actually making me feel bad or jealous or whatever the emotion is. And then if you just have that second where you take a pause, and then I think you should just step away from it if it's making you feel bad. And just having that ability to just take a step back and be like, what emotion is this bringing up for me right now? Why is it making me feel like that? And then taking that step away, go out for a walk, or just put your phone down, cook dinner, or just do something else, like go have a shower, I don't know, just like something in the physical real world, and just taking yourself away from that screen, even if it's only for a few minutes. If you start to feel bad, I think that's probably like a good way to manage those feelings.
Yeah, I think on that, like if there's certain influencers you follow or stuff that you watch online and you like are a big fan of them, but then when you're scrolling on their account, if it's some influencer that's doing 1 million hauls a day or all these different outfits, actually, like you said, think about how that account makes you feel. Because I know there's some accounts, I watch a lot of home accounts because I love decorating my flat and decorating my house. Sometimes I'll be scrolling on this beautiful house and I'm like, I love these videos, I love this content. But actually when I think, how is it making me feel? It's actually making me feel worse, because I'm thinking, I wish I had that house, or I'm jealous, or I'm comparing my own, what I've got, to them. And maybe, just stepping back and thinking, okay, maybe I don't need to scroll on their account every day. Maybe I should unfollow them, no matter how much I like the person and want to watch their videos. Maybe it's actually not good for my mental health at the moment to be watching their videos every day. So maybe I'm just gonna take a step back, unfollow, maybe just even block them if it's really affecting you, and take a step back and like Josie said, do things in your real life that can make you feel better.
Like I find this a lot because I'm an art content creator and I do post a lot of art stuff, and I also follow a lot of artists. And so with art and things that you create, it's so easy to compare yourself, because there's always going to be someone who is better at art than you, or like more talented, or like, you know, spends more time on making videos or something. There's always going to be someone who is better than what I'm doing. But I find that if I start to feel jealous, or if I start to feel in that negative way, if I just take a step back, go and like make some art and film it and actually create instead of consume, then I feel so much better, and I don't actually care. It like goes out of my head. Once I've created something myself, I just feel so much better. So if you're feeling, you know, if you're scrolling a clean talk account and you're feeling bad about the state of your house, just stop scrolling, go clean your sink. You'll feel so much better.
Okay, I think we've answered all your questions that we've got time for. But I think this was very interesting. I'm excited to see what the new year brings. Even though we're not trying to have pressure, I feel like it is fun. And now it's 2025. I feel like it's crazy that lockdown was 5 years ago. That's something that has shocked me.
Oh my God.
Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the first episode of the Big Sister podcast. Please let us know what you think in the comments. We're very open to suggestions. If anyone wants to let us know anything about it. But I hope you have enjoyed the first episode. We're going to be posting these weekly. So make sure you subscribe or follow us, or whatever app you're on. Make sure you follow so you can see the episodes every week. And if you want to follow us on our own socials, we can put it in the description or on screen here. And yeah, hope you're all having a lovely week. Happy New Year, everyone.
I'm going to go floss my teeth now.
Yeah, Josie's going to go floss her teeth. If we cut out that bit, that's going to be very confusing. But I hope you all had a good week. Hopefully you enjoyed listening to us, and we will see you next week for our next Big Sister Advice topic podcast episode. So we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye everyone.